Hello, my name is Wayne, and this video is about whether the 2020 Volvo S90 is the world's most dangerous luxury car. Watch this video and find out for yourself. If you enjoy this video, you might want to take a look at a book I wrote. It's called Quiet Freedom, and I wrote it under a pseudonym, W.C. Peace. And you can learn more at quietfreedom.net, and you can find it on Amazon and at Barnes & Noble. Thanks. So without further ado, let's get started.
Hello. So for this video, I'm going to film what I believe, in my experience driving rental cars, is the most dangerous passenger car I have ever driven. Now, I might even want to say it might be the most dangerous passenger car of model year 2019. So what are we looking at here? So we're looking at a Volvo S90. Okay, it's a T6 R design, all-wheel drive. Okay, so let's go look at the side here. I already took a photograph of it, but this is manufactured date 12/19. Okay, so it's a very new car. And right now I'm in a remote part of Nevada, okay, relatively remote. It's called Cave Lake State Park. And the only reason I point this out is because it took me several hours to drive up to this area yesterday. And as I was driving for the second time, I felt my right leg becoming very uncomfortably tired. I don't even know if numb, just weird sensation. Okay, and I experienced this yesterday, or excuse me, the day before yesterday when I drove up to Mount Charleston area from Las Vegas. So yesterday I drove from the Las Vegas area to Ely, Nevada, a Great Basin National Park area. So it's kind of like eastern Nevada central. Okay. But yeah, like 4 hours north of Las Vegas, more or less. So 2 days ago, when I drove this to Mount Charleston, I just attributed it to my leg just acting funky. Okay, I just didn't really think about it too much. Okay, but when it happened again yesterday, it was really bad. Okay, so appended to the end of this video will be my reaction yesterday as I was driving up. As well as some measurements. But I just wanted to take this time in the morning here to do another measurement here. So we've got the trusty UHS2 Alpha Lab magnetic field meter. And as you can see, the ambient magnetic field here, it jumps around, but is 0.14. Okay, 0.15, 0.2, it just jumps around. So this is very normal, okay, for a natural area. Actually, it's pretty normal for being an outdoor area, okay? Sometimes it'll get down to 0.1, okay? Now, what I realized yesterday was, I was like, what is wrong with this car? I mean, I knew it wasn't wireless radiation, it wasn't Bluetooth, it wasn't Wi-Fi, because I'd measured that and I'd turned it off. And what I realized yesterday was that it is the magnetic field put out by the engine of this car. Okay, and the lack of shielding or just the arrangement. Okay, so it's got a bigger engine because this is their flagship sedan S90. Okay, I want to say this is probably at least a $45,000 car. Okay, so it's a luxury car. Okay, now why they didn't catch this or what's the I don't know about their design, but yeah, this is very dangerous. So I'm going to turn on the engine here. I have to get in the car to turn it on. Okay, so the first thing we see here is the magnetic field immediately jumps up to 1.25 at the steering column. By the handle, by the shifter, we're looking at 2.5. So let's take a look. So at the seat here, we're looking at about a 4 milligauss, okay? Now that's very high for the seat area to be a constant. So not only will you get more tired, but it's just not good for your health, okay? Magnetic field will vibrate the metals in your body, okay? Whether that's iron, aluminum, copper, whatever metals you have in your body, okay? Silver. Okay, up by the near closer to the head, we're looking at about a 2. 1.6 at the head. Now, if this was only 4 throughout, I mean, I guess one could live with that. It's, you know, it's not the end of the world per se. But what this really gets dangerous here is by the foot. Okay, so let's see, on the railing here we have 6.75, about 7 more or less, okay? But by the foot here, the left foot is measuring at 8.2, okay? Now where it gets really bad is right here, the right foot. Okay, you can see it's 16, 17, it actually jumps up to 18. Okay, now when you're driving this car, not all cars behave like this, but usually when you drive the car, because right now the car is not in motion, the magnetic field will go up, okay? In this case, the magnetic field will go up to about 30, right around here. Maybe 29, 28, but I've seen it go over 30, okay? But this is a huge magnetic field for a car at rest. Where your left foot is, we're looking at about 7.5, 8, okay? By the brake pedal, also looking at about 8 to 9. The gas pedal is 12, 12.5, okay? Now these levels will go up to maybe like 15, 16. Here, I think I found on the left side it stays kind of around 10 at the most, 9 to 10. Okay, but the most dangerous spot, yeah. So a lot of times if you're on cruise control and you're driving, or when I was on cruise control and driving, what happened was the magnetic field of 30, okay, was affecting the blood in my foot, okay? And the blood is always circulating in your body, so that your blood becomes magnetized and it starts, it's like vibrating. So it's just a very weird sensation. So, I seldom drink caffeine, which means, like, you know, if I drink coffee it might be decaf usually, or decaf tea. Occasionally it will be caffeinated. The only reason I mention this is because caffeine is a pain reliever, okay? Whether it's in soda, energy drinks, or whatever. So that might help blocks people's ability to feel these changes, okay? But yeah, I definitely felt it because I've lowered my vibration a lot, and again, I've changed my diet a lot. So it's really bad that it affects the right leg the most, because that is the one where you are braking or accelerating, okay? So, a lot of cars usually are, closer to under 5. They might have a hot spot of 10, maybe 12 or something at the most. But this is definitely the worst car I have ever seen when going up to 30. So that's just dangerous. That's like dangerous. Okay, so I'm going to try and return this car later today, see if I can get another one, because I do want to do some more driving tomorrow. So yeah, so you've seen this video test of the car at rest. Okay, I don't want to try and measure it while I'm driving because it's a bit dangerous, unless I had someone to hold the steering wheel, and even then it could be dangerous. So yeah, so if you watch the rest of this video, you'll see my reactions from yesterday as I stopped at another Nevada state park. So I've test driven an S60, a Volvo S60, maybe 3 years old, and it didn't seem to have any particular magnetic field problem that I noticed. Okay, I've driven a Volvo V some kind of wagon in France, and I don't remember if I took a magnetic field measurement because I don't know if I had the magnetic field meter with me, but I didn't notice any problems whatsoever. So it's something specific to this model year and model, and maybe whenever they introduce this specific model, it would be affecting you know, all that range of model years, presumably, unless they made some change. So yeah, most dangerous passenger car of model year 2019, luxury Volvo S90. I mean, who would have guessed? Okay, who would have guessed? So yeah, high magnetic field is very dangerous, and it's, relatively speaking, it's even more dangerous than wireless radiation. Okay, now of course if that gets too high, you know, you basically, you don't want to expose yourself too high to either one of those. So yeah, magnetic field, bad. Okay, so hope you found this video useful, and yeah, it's a good idea to understand magnetic fields as it relates to your health and as to what your exposure level is. Now, if you're just driving this car for city driving, you don't go on long road trips, you know, within 10 miles, you might never, if you own this car, you might never notice this issue, okay? But if you go on a road trip, you know, pay attention to your body, whether it's this car or whatever car you own. And then I would recommend getting a magnetic field meter of some sort. So yeah, okay, that's enough. Okay, this is a video about the magnetic field from a Volvo S90. I want to say this is a 2020 model year. Let's take a look here. This is my rental car. You can see it's all-wheel drive, T6. Okay, I think the T stands for technology. So yeah, so I was, you know, when I rented this car from Six, I was expecting a Mercedes, but they only had the Volvo. And I've driven a Volvo before, a Volvo wagon, with no incident in France last year. So I was like, okay, no worries. But this is actually, this is like their top-end luxury car, but it's actually very dangerous. And I'm going to show you why. So I'm just here on my way to Great Basin National Park. I'm still got another hour and a half to get there. I'm at an entrance to a Nevada state park called Kershaw Ryan. Okay, this is not really relevant though, but just to get an idea of where I am. And so I've been driving this from Las Vegas for a few hours, and yeah, my right leg, it's like, it hurts, okay? And I noticed this yesterday when I was driving outside of Las Vegas to a place called Mount Charleston. So that was driving for 2.5 hours or something like that. And I noticed at some point my right leg was getting sore and hurting. And I'm like, is it just my muscles are, you know, something with my muscles? And, you know, I didn't think too much of it because I got back into the Vegas area and went to my hotel. But now I'm driving, you know, it's a 4-hour drive, okay? And it started happening again, and I was like, okay, what is going on here? And I finally decided, okay, I'm going to measure the magnetic field, which I had done briefly either yesterday or today, and it didn't, you know, it was high, but it didn't seem like that crazy high. But it turns out I missed a hot spot, okay? So right now you see the magnetic field right outside here is 0.2, okay? This is about as low as it really goes usually, maybe 0.15, okay? Now as we get closer to the car, you see the level going up, okay? So at the driver's level, it's actually kind of high there, 1.65. But I mean, you know, it's not like high. It's just higher than what other cars I drive usually. So we have 2 at the body. So the thing is, if it's 2 at the body, what is it at the floor? Now I'm just looking here, that's like 4 at the seat. Okay, that is very high for the seat level. Okay, 3.2. But what it is with my leg here, so down here, let's see if we can see that. If I put that on the floor there, you can see right there it's 8, okay? Now the car isn't even moving because I noticed that will get higher, but there's a hot spot right there. Look at that. That's nearly 20 and the car's not even moving. So when I put the field meter there, when I put this meter there while I was driving, it got up to like 30 or 33. You know, that's really bad. Now I know why my leg is hurting. So this is a very poorly designed car in terms of the driver's magnetic field. I don't know what they were thinking. I mean, I've driven a Volvo S60, I want to say, which is a smaller car, and I just did a test drive, and I want to say I measured the magnetic field and it seemed okay, but this is outrageous. So, you know, so there by the pedal, we can see it's 14, okay, 13, 14. Okay, higher up it's 10. By the pedal, brake pedal, it's 7.5. Where the left foot sits, okay, and I've had no issues with my left leg. So we're looking at 7.5, okay. Right there is 8. You know, where you rest your right leg. Again, 13. So it's a very seriously imbalanced, and like I said, it goes up higher. I can't really, it's hard to film when I'm driving, it's dangerous. I can do it though, I have done it. But yeah, so this is a very dangerous car. I want to say when you have a magnetic field imbalance and you have this exposure for a long period of time, that could lead to a stroke. I mean, over years probably. But yeah, so when it gets moving, again, the level actually goes up quite a bit more. So I'm very disappointed in this car. Like my Volkswagen Passat, for example, at the seat level is no more than 1.5 probably. It's something like that. And to have 4 on the seat, that's very high. So yeah, so there needs to be some shielding under there. And I've almost thought like I'm gonna pack a shielding product I have called G-Iron and take it, you know, it doesn't weigh much, and take it in my check-in bag, and you know, if I ever get a rental car that's that outrageous and I'm driving, you know, decently long distance, you know, I can just put it under there. Yeah, so this is a very dangerous car. You know, this is the Volvo. Volvo is a brand that stands for safety, and you would think they would know about this. Now, maybe it was just this one bad design. The designer didn't know about it. Maybe it was a cost-cutting move. I know they're owned by Geely, which is from China, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it. But yeah, this is a very disappointing experience. I mean, the interior is great. There's a lot of trunk space. It accelerates. It's got a sunroof. But I would never recommend this car. I would never recommend it because of this. So yeah, so the Volvo S90, big surprise, is now, to me, the most dangerous passenger car, or the worst passenger car you can get in terms of magnetic field. Yeah, that hotspot is really high, and it's right where your foot is on the gas pedal and brake. You need that leg to be functioning, okay? Like I've got a hotspot in the Volkswagen by the rail, okay? It gets really high by the rail, where the equivalent of this R design is. But I've shielded it there, so it doesn't bother me. I don't remember the exact amount. Yeah, but again, when you're affecting the driver's right leg, okay, and that's what you need to accelerate and brake, you know, that's very dangerous. So yeah, I'm very disappointed in this car, and I mean, when I get back to Vegas, I'm not going to be doing much more driving, maybe a little bit, but I'm tempted to just, you know, exchange it, just to tell the people at 6, like, you know, I'm not going to bother telling them about magnetic field, but that just I had a very, feel very uncomfortable in this car. So, yeah, surprise of all surprises, the Swedish Volvo S90 gets my most dangerous car from a magnetic field standpoint, and just driving, because your right leg will get tired. So, yeah. Okay, so as you can see, in the process of driving, not too many cars on this road, so I'm going to show you how I'm driving this Volvo S90. So my leg is a bit safer, and it doesn't like start hurting. You know, the thing with high magnetic fields is it makes you tired faster. So if it's like, you know, a little bit more, yeah, then you just keep on incrementing it. But this is such a disparity in that one hot zone. And it's a place where if I'm not putting my foot on the pedal, if I'm on cruise control, for example, like I'm on now, okay, I'll put my right foot, you know, right in this location right here, away from the pedal. And usually that is a lower magnetic field. But again, it gets up to 30 there, and I have the meter here, but I'm not gonna show it. Like, it's hard to drive, hold the camera, and show the magnetic field at the same time. But I'm showing you how my feet are, as you can see there. I have them both in the left front corner because the magnetic field there is lower, okay, which is kind of odd because I find usually that's a higher zone in general. I forget what it is on the left side here. I don't think it's too bad, so I kind of like, it's kind of hard to do my, you know, here I have to hold the, yeah, so you can see my feet are down there. Occasionally I'll put one here, and maybe I'll put the other foot, the right foot, up in the corner there, okay? So, because even just a distance of 1 foot, the magnetic field will drop significantly, okay? So, when it comes to magnetic fields in cars, okay? So, anyways, here's a car coming. I'm still another 100 miles or so away from Ely, Nevada, where I'm going to check into the hotel, rest a little bit, then I'll go to Great Basin. But I'm just dreading, you know, I wanted to stop at some other state parks along here. I just passed by a turnoff and it said like 12 miles or 28 miles for 2 different ones, and I'm like, I want to minimize my time in this car. So all I'm going to do now in this car is get to Ely, go to Great Basin, drive around, you know, see the stars tonight, Milky Way hopefully, and drive back to Ely. So yeah, so having this car has actually just put a wrench in my plans to explore further and more comprehensively, because it's just painful. Like, I can still feel the pain in my right leg, okay? It's a little bit better now because now it's only exposed to a 10 milligauss magnetic field, okay? Which is a lot better than, you know, 20 or 25 or 30. So, but still, ideally it should just be, you know, less than 5. So I don't know why all automakers aren't aware of this, and, you know, yeah, it would add a little bit to the cost to shield it, but not a whole lot, okay? It adds like almost no weight. So, you know, again, I found Toyotas are the best at shielding it completely. Yeah, it seems like every other make has some kind of hot spot, whether it's Nissan, Ford, Volkswagen. I want to say a Subaru had it pretty low, but the ride was too rigid in that car. So, yeah, you know, the things you don't know, but we'll be learning more about magnetic fields and appreciate them a lot more in, you know, in a couple decades. So, because we're going to learn about how magnetic fields relate to microwave radiation or satellite internet, and how that affects the magnetic field of the Earth, which affects, weather phenomenon and wind and stuff. But anyways, that's beside the point. So, up towards that way is Great Basin National Park. Okay, you can see the scenery's there. I don't know if you can really tell from this vantage point. So I'm going to end this video. Yeah, just very disappointed.